If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? In order to raise self-awareness, let's do a shelf reflection together. Can an opening be more cringy than this? Hi guys, this is Dan. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is slightly different because it is inspired by what other creators has been doing. As a fellow booktuber, we all love books and we also need some shelves to keep them well. So some creators come up with this idea, which is to look at how many books you have on the shelves, how many of them you have read, how many is unread. Through this, I would say people would have different reasons to do so, maybe to reflect upon themselves, to do a shelf reflection. And for me, what I would do is to see how many, of course, unread books I have on my shelf. And is there any particular reason make me not reading those books, or do I have any plans to read them in the future? So this video is not just me simply going through all the books I have on the shelves, but also reflect to think critically why I make such a mistake or such a mess. Some of you may not know this bookcase was built maybe 2 years ago, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelves. At first it looked quite empty because my collection was quite small still, but now it has expanded quite a lot. So I think it is a good opportunity for me to do a shelf reflection, to reflect upon my shelf and to raise my shelf awareness. Really cringy, right? I guess it will be easier for us to just start with this bottom shelf and then we will move upwards and then towards that side, okay? So we'll move along quite a lot, and I think it will be easier for me to have my tool here, which is ouch, to point to the books rather than me picking every book up, because I honestly don't want to make a mess here. I don't want to do any tidy up for this video's sake. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Dentistry so you won't miss any fun bookish content from me. You can also support me by becoming my Patreon, visiting my Ko-fi. You can also follow my Instagram for more daily updates. All the links you need will be in the description below. You can also help raising shelf awareness at home. You can do this shelf report together to see how many books you have in total and then how many of them you haven't read yet. Feel free to share that percentage down in the comment below. And I am actually doing squatting quite a lot for this video. Can you see me if I sit down like this? Looks a bit weird. So let's start with this bottom shelf. To be fair, this should be 100% because I put all the books that I have read and those that I like on this bottom shelf here. And you can tell the shelf, the width of it or the height of it is not uniform across these three, so I can kind of keep more books in here. Maybe we can start with my right hand side. First of all, I have the Dandelion Dynasty, the last 2 books of it here by Ken Liu. It is a really interesting Asian-inspired historical fantasy, which you can tell Ken Liu has put a lot of effort to construct this world, which I totally appreciate. But I don't think this series is beginner-friendly because of all the details, all the information. Underneath the Dandelion Dynasty, I have 4 books by R.F. Kuang, the whole trilogy of the Poppy War, and then you may not see it, but it is Babel. All 4 I did enjoy too. They are kind of all Asian-inspired fantasy, but the Poppy War is inspired by the Qing Dynasty, and then the Babel explore the consequences, the effect of colonization, and then also with topics like linguistics, which I also like. Moving on, we have another Asian historical inspired fantasy, the Radiant King duology by Shirley Parker Chan. It is inspired by the Ming Dynasty and it is quite dark, but I still enjoy it. From now on this shelf, I don't have any more Chinese inspired fantasy. First of all, we have, what is it called? James Islington's Lacanius trilogy. I think it is not like a test about my shelves, but also my knowledge about all the books that I have read. It's so difficult to remember all the details. And I finally learned how to pronounce the author's name correctly. It is Islington, not Islington, as I watched an Instagram reel by him. And then we have, one of my favorites, the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill, my all-time favorite. I only got until of War and Ruin here, which reminds me I have to order the Eyes and of Empires and Dust. Next to it, we have the Silver Blood Promise by James Logan, which I can't wait for the sequel in October later this year. I'm not sure, can you see behind this fish? These 3 books here are actually books that I want to unhaul, books that I am not interested in. We have Sons of Darkness by Gareth Mahinti. It is an Indian-inspired epic fantasy which I didn't quite enjoy. There are just too many details. Next to it, we have another book that I totally don't like, Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. It is just too chaotic and messy for my taste. Lastly, it is God Killer by Hannah Kinner, which is another series I DNF already. So on this shelf, I have a total of 18 books and I have finished them all, meaning that it is a 100% success rate. Let me move a bit upwards for the shelves here. Oh, it is a bit silly. Coming to this upper shelf, I would say it is the worst among all because I put all the books that I haven't read yet here. So you may recognize some of them from my Winter's TBR, which I still haven't read yet. So maybe we can start with those books on my Winter's TBR. The City We Became by Anki Jemisin, The Institute by Stephen King, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, The Water Outlaws by H.L. Huang, The Bright Sword by Les Grossman, The Dance of Shadows by Robert Payne. Still haven't read them yet, and there are 6 books in total, which is quite bad. Finally, we reach a book that I have already finished, A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. Interesting fantasy mystery. Coming to the next 5, I still haven't read them yet. Empire of the Vampire. Thank you, Echo. Empire of the Vampire, Empire of the Damned by J. Christoph. I think this one is an exclusive from Waterstones, and then this one is from Gosborough, which obviously they are out of print. And I luckily come across with some private sellers wanna part with their unhaul, and they are selling them for such an affordable price, so I got them. And I also know that the last book of this series is gonna be out later this year, so I think why not get them for later. And I also have the Blood Swan Saga by John Gwynne here. I got them once again for the same purpose. They are on sale and I got them. But don't worry, I am thinking to read Empire of the Vampire maybe in October because I mean it is Halloween, right? For the Blood Swan Saga, it is part of my 2026 reading plan already. So these 5 books hopefully will be done by next year. The last series I have on this shelf is the first 6 books of the Echo Saga by Philip C. Quintrell, which I have already finished the first 4 books here. By the way, I forgot to mention here, I was rearranging my shelves because obviously I am running out of space, so I have to put a book which should belong here to the floor, and I have this, The Thousand Names by Django Wexler. It is a book that I have no idea why I get it, and I decided to unhaul it soon. In terms of the percentage of the books that I have completed here, there is a total of 19 books and I only finished 5 of them, meaning the percentage is 26.3%. Quite bad here. Reflect, raise shelf awareness. To be fair, there are some books that I plan to read later this year or they are already included in my 2026 reading plan. And then for some, they are books that I don't think I will read anytime soon. If I need to read them, probably I will see can I read it on my Kobo. I decided to unhaul some of it, let's say those books from my Winter's TBR. A really good shelf reflection here and raise my shelf awareness. I am totally aware that the space on my shelf is really limited and I need to be extra careful for books that I want to get in. Alright, let's move on to this really colorful shelf. I think it is going to be like a test for me because I display only the spray edge and I may not know which books they are. So it turns out to be a how well do you know your shelf challenge. But first of all, let's have a sip of my coffee. Once again, start from my right hand side. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books from Gosborough. And then the first 4 here and these two are part of the Gospel GSFF. I have Voyage of the Dam by Francis White, The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown, High Voltage by Chris Sutton and his wife. Sorry, I forgot your name. And then I also have Dragon Rider by Tara Matharu, and then next to it is the sequel of it, which is The Tainted Can. It is... Who are you? I need to have a look. The Night Ends with Fire by K.S. Sung. Next to it, it is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris, Grave Empire by... I forgot the author's name. Richard Swan. And then this orange block here is... I honestly forgot about it. A Tide of Black Steel by Anthony Ryan. Next to Gospel, I have books from Etta Fairyloot and their Romantasy one. The Gods Below by, don't ask me the author's name, I honestly don't know. It is Sorcery and Small Magics by Margaret Ducey. The Tale of Small Fortunes by Julie Liang. At last, it is Firebird by Julia Cross. Not bad here. Moving on, we have 3 books from the Lock Library, the complete set of the Library Trilogy by Mark Lawrence. And then we also have books from Page and Wig, Never Dies by Rob J. Hayes. And the second last subscription books I have is from Inkstone, which is Who Are You? Send help please. I know it is the Outcast Mage, but how about this one? Oh, Blood of the Old Kings by Song Il Kim. At last, it is the book from Enigmacrate, which I am totally new, so I have no idea what it is. It is a Song of Legends lost by M.H. Indi. Obviously, I have already finished all the books from GSFF because I have already cancelled it. To make that decision, I have to read all the books to see how they are like first, right? And then for Fairyloot, it is 50-50. I still got The Gods Below, which I will probably unhaul, and then Firebird, which is included in my summer's TBR. Same goes to books like The Book That Held Her Heart, the last book of the Library Trilogy, and The Never Dies by Robert J. Hayes. They are also included in my June's TBR already. So I don't think this shelf should be that bad because most of the books I have already read. If not, they are part of my reading plan already. So let's look at the statistic. There are 20 books on this shelf and I have already completed 12 of them, which means that the percentage of the books I have completed is 60%. Once again, I don't think it is that bad because 2 of them is already in my June's TBR, which would push the percentage to 70% by the end of the month. And some of them I would unhaul, some of them I would read in the next couple of months. Can you see this shelf? I guess I need to move you up a bit. So all the books on this shelf here is really special because they are all written by the very famous author, Brandon Sanderson. As you can see, they are like a mix of paperbacks and hardcovers because back in those days, I don't think Miss Bond Era 1 was printed in hardcover unless it is that special edition. So I guess we can butcher this shelf really quickly here because the only 2 books that I haven't read yet is Elantris and Wind and Truth. There is a total of 16 books on this shelf. 16 minus 2 is 14, so the percentage of the books that I have already completed is 87.5%, which is quite high. I'm quite proud of myself with this number and I can see my reading pattern has shifted. As you can see, I didn't buy any Miss Bond Era 2 books because I read them all, or nearly all, on my Kobo, so there's no need to buy any books in and I want to keep it as a good habit. For special edition, of course, I want to get them because I mean they look good and I have some sort of personal connection with them. But with books that I am not too sure of, if I can't get a hardcover, as you can see, majority of my collection is in hardcover, so I want the consistency here. If I can't find the hardcover, if they are titles I'm not certain with, maybe they are written by a new author to me, I would rather read them on my Kobo, if that is possible. Moving on to the top shelf here, How should I categorize them? I would say majority of them are books that I have already finished, but they are not like wow, like those that I really deeply connected with, so I send them up there. Or maybe on this side, I have like series of books that I already DNF. I put them on sale, but no one is interested in them yet, so they're still sitting up there. I'm actually thinking if I can't really sell them, I would just donate them to my local charity, which I would probably do a video about it later in this month or in July. No BS, cut to the point. On this shelf, we have Blood of the Outcast by, I forgot your name, sorry. But it is a series that I have already DNF. I didn't like the protagonist we got in her messy mind so much. Next to it, we have two books by Evan Winters, The Rage of Dragons and The Fire of Vengeance. By the way, where is the third book? Then we have Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher, which I already DNF the series. We also have two books by Samantha Shannon, Behind This Plant, A Day of Fallen Night and The Power of the Orange Tree. And I can't wait for the third book in this same universe later in September. I think I'm right? Then we have three books by Brandon Sanderson, the other two books from the Reckoning series, and the Shadow of Self, which is the second book in Miss Bond Era 2. I saw somewhere selling the hardcover, so I got it, basically. Then we have two fantasy series, The Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas and The Pet and the Pattern by J.T. Greathouse, which I have already finished the later one, but I am still waiting to finish the last book of The Crescent City because obviously you have to read Equator first. Do I need to tell you what book it is? The Lord of the Rings, which I finished long time ago. And this book here is like a divider that I use for like books that I want to unhaul. I have Art Deco Britain, which is not a fantasy book at all. It is more like a tool book. After we have Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, Happy Place by Emily Harry. These are two books that I haven't read it yet, but I am still interested in books by Emily Harry because I mean she's such a popular author for romance, this genre, and I haven't read anything by her yet, so I want to get to know her basically. The last three books I have on this shelf are books that I have finished but don't want to continue with the series. I have Against All Gods by Miles Cameron, The Stardust Thief, and also The Adventure of Amina El-Sarifi. I think I've put them for sale for so long in such a really cheap price, but no one is interested in them, so I will donate them to a charity shop and see if someone wants it. Whew, finally, two shelves remaining, not too long to go. Can you see me well like this? No, you can't see me at all. So I guess I have to move you again, sorry guys. I think it would be easier to do this shelf first because they are all the books from the Broken Binding. Oh, the lighting is awful on this side. It is the Powder Mage Trilogy by... I forgot the author's name again. And then it is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. And then it is Memory, Sorrow and Thorn series by... Awkward silence. Ted Williams, yes. Next to it is Rook and Rose by Emma Carrick, The Magician by Raymond E. Weiss. They are all books from their Broken Binding fantasy subscription, and the only series that I haven't read yet is Rook and Rose, which is also part of my 2026 reading plan as a result. Next to it, I'm not sure can you see it, but I don't think you can see me. Or maybe I have to move a bit more. Next to it is The Malison by Stephen Erickson. I am intimidated by this series because I have heard a lot of positive reviews about this series, particularly to the world building. And this is a series that got plenty of details hidden, so I wanna be in a proper mindset for this series to finish more epic fantasy series first before jumping into it. I wanna really enjoy it. and not like in a sense clashing with other epic series that I would read. Behind this plan, I have 2 books from the Nintendo and the Falcon series, which is written by Stephen Iron. I have finished the first 2 books in the series, and the 3rd book is out now, which I haven't got it yet. Dum me. So I will read it probably in this summer. Then we have The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which is a book that I have already finished, and it is such a hype book that I didn't enjoy, sadly. At last, we have the Sun Eater series by Christopher Riccio. I hope I said it right. I think my summer's TBR video should be up before this one, so you will know I would read this series later this year, maybe starting it in September. I don't want to read it like the Echo Saga or the Wheel of Time, which I got a fixed schedule, monthly or bi-monthly, to finish the series as soon as possible. I just find this kind of pattern just give me unnecessary pressure to like chasing after deadline, which if I can do it, I'll be really proud of myself, but if I nearly miss the deadline, I will start panicking, which is not really good to myself. So I have decided to mood read this series when I'm sitting on the sofa and look at this series and I think about it like, I haven't read you for so long, let's pick you up situation, if you know what I mean. So there is a total of 23 books on this shelf, and I have just completed 13 of them, which means the percentage is around 56.5%. I know like roughly this number is like 50-50, but it is not too bad to me because I know that I am going to read Rick and Rose, these 3 books in 2026, and I also got a plan for Sun Eater, which I will probably finish by the end of 2026, if not early 2027. So the percentage would definitely get better by the end of 2026. I know it is still far away, but I mean, if you got a plan, it is fine. And you can see the dye from this stick is like on my hand. By the way, I forgot to do the math for this shelf. There is a total of 28 books and I have already completed 19 of them. So the percentage is 67.5%. You may think this is a relatively low percentage, but I mean, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books to unhaul, which means that majority of the books up there I have already completed. So it is not that bad. Finally, the last shelf of the day. It is really easy to go through because I mean, I got the first 11 books of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, which I have... Sorry about that. I got the first 11 books of the Wheel of Time series, which I have finished them all. I still got 4 books left in this series, which I hopefully can finish by the end of the year. Next to it, I have 7 books for my secret special project, which I don't want to talk about it too much, so I want to keep it a surprise for you guys. But what you need to know about is I haven't read those 7 books yet. So there is a total of 18 books up there. I only finished 11 of them, so I only got 61.1% of books read up here. Maybe let's move back to that side to wrap up this video, shall we? How well is my shelf awareness? I would say it's not that bad, right? From this shelf report, what I have learned is, firstly, I got a total of 141 books and I have only finished 92 of them, meaning that it is around 65.2%. Is it a really bad number? What I would say is I got a plan for majority of them, no matter it is included in my reading plan or they are books that I decided to unhaul. So I guess if I unhaul the books and do this video later, the percentage would definitely raise. As I said many times in this video, I don't think there's any wrong with doing book haul, no matter it is for creators or like you guys watching this video, so long as you know what you're doing. You got a plan for them and you know when to finish them. If you are not happy with a series, you can simply DNF it and sell those books or maybe just donate them. If you're happy with your books, then keep it on your shelf, simply as that. Maybe in my like physical TBR video or like to plan my summer TBR, I always think like, oh my gosh, I got so many books to read. It is true, but at least I still got a vision of when to finish them. And I think the shift of my reading habit, which is to read digitally rather than physically, also helped to reduce the amount of books that I am going to get because I can simply read them digitally. I'm not the kind of reader that I must read physically, I must get a physical copy of the books. I think one good thing about that is when you look to your shelf, you know how many books you got and you know which books you haven't read yet. For like digital copies, you may need to turn on your Kobo, you may need to turn on your Kindle to see how many books you have not read yet. So after this shelf report, I'm still quite happy with these 65.3% of books that I have read. I know it is not like a really high number, but at least, like I said many times already, I got a plan for the rest of them. So I don't think I need to impose restriction or like book buying ban on my shelf because of too many unread books here. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Dynasty so you won't miss anything from me. I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye.